Hey, welcome to the Elite Performance Channel, the space where leaders, achievers, and top performers share their insights. And I'm your host, Shakti. And together we'll uncover the mission, mindset, and mastery that drive industry giants to thrive under pressure. So thank you so much for being here. And it's really an honor for all of you to be here. Now, each episode brings you strategies, stories, and signs you can model to elevate your personal performance. So let's dive in. Now, in today's episode, I have a special guest from India. Now, we call him Mr. Magical Rafi, a behavioral scientist, a coach with more than 20 years of experience, having trained 125,000 people and worked with 200 or more than 200 organizations worldwide. Now, he's an expert in NLP. In fact, I took my time to be there in India to train with him or under him. And he's an expert in sales psychology, leadership, and mental wellness. And he's known as one of Asia's most impactful trainers. So without any delays, let's invite Mr. Rafi.
Thank you so much, Shakti. Honored to be on your podcast. And thank you so much for the heartwarming introduction as well. Means a lot.
It's an honor, Rafi. I mean, for you to set your busy schedule to be here with us for our listeners and to have you here. So thank you so much. And Rafi, what I'm going to do is I'm going to dive into the questions and straight away tap on your experience. So
Sure.
Rafi, so let's talk about, first of all, about yourself, right? A defining moment in your journey. I mean, 20 years of experience, a defining moment that shaped who you are as a leader today in the NLP.
Okay, a defining moment.
Yes.
That's a very interesting question, Shakti, because there are umpteen defining moments that shape me as an individual. However, I would want to bring to your attention one element where I was the only trainer when I was invited to train you yourself as an ex-Singapore Army Airborne Ranger and a commando officers trainer. And so I was invited and I was honored to be invited by the Indian Army and also to train the Indian Navy and the civil services officers in India. So possibly I'm the only trainer in the entire continent of Asia, to my knowledge, at least in India, definitely, and who was invited to train the Army, Navy, and the Air Force. I think that was a defining moment of my career as a trainer, as a behavioral scientist, as a coach. So that's what I would say.
And I believe that in order for you to be able to train the Indian Army and Navy, I think there's a lot of prior checks in terms of your credibility, your experience, and so on, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, excellent, excellent. And apart from that, any other things that gave you the kind of that this is what I'm here for, and make you want to give back more, any bigger organizations that you have worked with apart from the Indian Army and Navy?
Oh, yeah, I've worked with more than 200 organizations worldwide. I've worked with Infosys, it's one of the global IT giants from India. Tata is one of India's heritage companies. I've worked with the Tatas. I've worked with the Reliance Group. I've worked with many, many companies, international companies, including ThyssenKrupp Elevators. So there are a lot of pharmaceutical companies like Lupin Pharma. There are umpteen industries that I've worked with the leadership team in terms of the sales, psychological interventions, leadership development programs, peak performance, performance enhancement. So these are all companies when they hired me. Again, it was giving me more joy from within, and it also cemented my place in the country as an expert in this particular space. So I'm truly honored and blessed to say that this was another defining moment. And also in my therapeutic interventions with people, I'm also into therapy. And when people go through different challenges, I've worked with some of the extreme cases, like I would say from a therapeutic perspective. There was a doctor who came to me way back in 2017, I remember, like 8 years ago. So there's an institute, one of the top medical colleges in the country, not one of the, in fact, that is the top medical college, and I wouldn't want to mention the name. So the doctor was going through psychiatric treatment. Basically, he was going through extreme depression and anxiety. And this doctor was a gold medalist by himself. He's an MBBS MD pulmonologist. And he was going through depression, and he was taking treatment from this hospital. And also prior to that, he had taken treatment from 3 to 4 other psychologists, psychiatrists, and there was no results. And finally, they told him that your only option is ECT. ECT is electroconvulsive therapy, otherwise called as a shock treatment in a layman's
Mm.
language. Yeah. So, and that's when he got in touch with me. He was under medications for close to 2 years, and he was prescribed ECT. And he came into my 5 days total transformation workshop, which I do in India and some parts of Asia as well. And of course, we intend to do in Singapore as well soon. And so he came in on the third day, he quit his medications, right? And he was like laughing like a baby. He said that he's not laughed like that for the last couple of years, right? And then he came for upskilling himself to my level 2, which was my 10 days program, which you attended, which you came to India, which was my mastery level program. And post that, he's never touched medications for the last 7 years, and he's doing incredibly well. Today, he is also a trainer. I'm very happy to say that. And he's launched his first course last week.
Wow.
So along with his medical profession, he also became a trainer as well. So that is again a defining moment which said that, hey, come on, it's not just training and coaching. I am also someone who has got the skill sets and the blessing, I would say, in India to work with people who have got extreme challenges using cutting edge modern scientific mind reprogramming and neuroscience tools.
Yeah, and it's amazing how these tools and your trainings can change people's lives for betterment.
Yeah, and when you were there, you saw a gentleman who had numbness in his in his right leg. Yeah, in his right leg for almost 2 to 3 years. He couldn't walk properly. He was limping. So he had taken like almost 16 seconds, I think, to walk from one point to another point. And we did the work with him. And then the same distance he covered in 9 seconds, which was incredible for him. After that, he started playing football as well, which he could never imagine doing that. So there are a lot of these kind of transformations which we do with the mind body connection. People who have got anxiety, fears, phobias, depression, insomnia, sleep issues, anger issues, people who are stuck in their career. So there are a lot of people who come into my workshops as well. People who are stuck in their business, they don't know how to grow their business, who don't know how to sell. All of these elements is something which I cover in my programs.
Yeah, amazing. In fact, Rafi, I really wanted you in this podcast because I was there to witness how the gentleman who was with me and he was telling me that he's not able to walk like what you just mentioned. But on the day when you did the intervention and he was like running around playing football, I was amazed.
Yeah.
And yes, it's amazing. Awesome. And Rafi, with so much experience and everything, uh, I think what's the mission or driving force that keeps you going, especially when the pressure is high?
The mission of the driving force that keeps me going is my intention and my vision to bring about a shift in the lives of human beings. So, if I can bring about a shift in the lives of one human being, you don't know. Basically, let's say it's Shaktivel who's come into the program, and I'm bringing about a shift in the life of Shaktivel. Shaktivel is not just one person, Shaktivel himself is a leader, right?
Mm,
And Shaktivel can touch the lives of thousands of people.
mm,
So I'm focused. My drive is to bring about a change in the lives of leaders like you, people who are at a leadership level, people who are like top entrepreneurs, people who are like top coaches, people who are top CXOs in organizations, middle management executives. So when I work with these kind of people, they already are influencers, they already are impacting lives. So if I can bring about a massive sustainable shift in one individual who is at a high level in their life, like you, naturally you will be able to bring about a shift in 10,000 people's lives or thousands of people's life. So that's
right.
what keeps me going. And also the other thing is my strong faith in the potential of the brain, and people haven't actually maximized the potential of the brain.
Mm,
I would say you're one person who has definitely maximized it, because you're a 4 times Ironman athlete, and one needs to maximize the potential of the brain and the body in order to achieve that. So that's another thing which drives me in my vision and mission.
all right. And Rafi, many professionals today they struggle with clarity in their careers, in their personal growth. So, what practical advice would you give to those still searching? for whether it's a mission, whether it's a purpose. Is there any specific advice that you would like to give?
Yeah, so in terms of finding clarity, one needs to be congruent about their values. So this is primary. What do you mean by congruence? Congruence is your head, heart, and your gut is aligned, right? So your head, brain, heart, brain, gut, brain, we say. And you also need to know what are the values which are important for you, which drives you. For some people, it may be making a difference to the life. So people could be a value. For some people, it could be family, could be a value. For some people, it could be making a difference in the world, could be a value. For some people, adventure could be value. So one needs to understand what is his or her values, clear about that, and then be congruent and aligned with their values so that it drives them towards their purpose, and that gives them clarity. And one more very important thing which I would invite people to say is that do not go by what just somebody else is doing. See whether that resonates with you. See whether that resonates with your heart, whether you love doing that. For example, if somebody asked me to do computer programming, right, I would not be driven to do computer programming because that doesn't resonate with me. If somebody asked me to do accounting, I would not do accounting because that doesn't resonate with me. Okay, maybe they say, hey, you become a chartered accountant and you can earn more. It's a safe job, but that doesn't resonate with me because when we wake up in the morning, if something doesn't resonate with an individual, then the individual will be curbing that, will be criticizing that on a day in and day out. So it's very important to see what resonates. Once the person identifies what resonates with them, and then it's aligned with their values, then they will have clarity and congruence. This is what I wish to say.
Cool. And I totally agree. I studied engineering, but I knew for sure that it doesn't resonate with me at all, and I will never be an engineer. And that's why, I'm here where I am. And cool. Thanks, Rafi. And okay, the next question is more towards something that's very close to my heart. It's about mindset, right?
Mhm.
And the thing, the setbacks are part of every journey. So, what
Right.
mindset shift have helped you to thrive when others might have just given up?
Oh, so there are three things which I would want to bring to the notice of our listeners and viewers. The first thing, in terms of a mindset, there is always, so whenever people give up in their life, there are three states which they go through. And whenever any problem an individual goes through in their life, there are three mindset which usually people go through, right? Which is called, one is called hopelessness, two is called helplessness, and three is called as worthlessness. So hopelessness, helplessness, worthlessness. So people don't feel hopeful. So for me, the first and foremost thing is there is always hope in the world. So I'm always hopeful, number one. And number two, if I don't know something, then I have no hesitancy or shame in asking for help. So there is nothing like I'm helpless.
Mm.
There are so many people out there in the world who would have already done that, achieved that, right? So
Yes.
definitely one needs to go and seek for help, and there are good people in the world who would be willing to help. So that's a very important mindset we all need to carry in ourselves, right? Never hesitate to ask for help. If one person doesn't help, knock the next door. Three is people feel worthless, which means that they don't have good self-esteem. So I would say the mindset is go back into your life, identify few strengths of yours, few skill sets of yours, which you're really, really good at. And that'll boost your self esteem to the next level, and you will always feel worthy about yourself. So, these are the three things which I will say. Always feel hopeful, always seek help whenever you are not able to do something, and three, feel high worth about yourself.
Yeah, amazing. Something very unique that I've heard when we talked about mindset. And now, if our viewers are talking about these three H, right?
Mhm.
Now, what could be some daily habits or rituals that will allow them to practice this and, have them to perform at their best? Is there anything that you would like to suggest that
Oh
they can
yeah.
do?
So in terms of teaching like behavioral sciences and neurolinguistic programming, there's one of the elements called RAS which we do, which is reticular activating system. So there's a very powerful practice which I have been doing for the last 15 to 20 years, right? Is this every day before going to bed, I just take a minute or so and I just look back in into that particular day and I just ask myself, hey, Rafi, can you think about one moment where you learned something new today? Can you think about one moment which made me feel happy? And can I think about one moment where I also was able to literally give something to somebody? Even it
Mm,
could be a small gesture or a compliment. So I'll just think about it myself. All right. And what does this do? This directs our attention for that particular day to all the beautiful elements that happen in that particular day and eliminates any of the unwanted elements that happens. This is a daily ritual which I do. And they say that your last thought of the night influences your first thought of the following morning,
mm,
right? The last thought of the night influences the first thought of the following morning, right? So now, if somebody is able to go to bed with this beautiful thought, then imagine the sleep is going to be really good. And I've got very good sleep. People tell me that, hey, Rafi, how do you sleep in less than 30 seconds? That's something which my friends, my colleagues, my students, all of them ask, right? I just sleep in less than 30 seconds because there is nothing that I'm carrying inside my head while I'm going to bed. I'm not carrying any of my worries. I'm not looking at some of the bad elements that happen in my life. I take it as learning. So, this is one ritual which I continuously have been following for the years. Second is something called as peak performance mindset. So, I also do peak performance. Peak performance is one of the key elements which I teach. You're an elite performance coach, and peak performance enables individuals to remain focused in any challenging situation. It eliminates all the unwanted thoughts. You're like a ninja commando. I'm talking this to a commando, I know that. So, the ninja commando state of mind, you go into that state of mind when somebody practices the peak performance exercises. So, there are very powerful yet very simple, straightforward peak performance exercises which one can practice. So, this is another ritual which I do on a daily basis. The
mm.
third ritual, if you ask me, is a little creative one or a little crazy one, I can say. I look to do at least one thing different which nobody has done or I myself has not done in the past. For example, this will be a parent interrupt. So I call this as parent interrupt. When we do some things very unique and different, which we have never done in our life, it's a parent interrupt and it triggers new neural pathways in the brain and keeps the brain sharper. And that helps
Mm.
us come up with easy solutions, helps us think better, find solutions to problems. So, this is one thing which my daughter told me, hey, Daddy, you need to put this during the podcast. And I said, okay, there are so many podcasts that I've seen all over the world, and I don't think anybody would have the courage or the audacity to even put this,
Yeah, that's
right?
true.
Yeah. So just a different one because I've never done this in my life. So I'm doing this for the very first time, wearing something like this in my head. So it's a very simple element. So this is something which again I do like consciously every day.
Hmm. So you make sure that there is a simple activity or any activity that breaks the pattern of what you normally do, so that it
Yeah,
keeps
yeah,
you.
absolutely. Very simple. So, for example, I can. So there's something which my son gifted me this one. So I was doing this morning. So you this like a this like what you say. It's like a sparrow, but if you
Mhm.
just put water inside it and you just blow it, it just comes like this. So what does this do? This keeps the creativity in you alive.
Mm.
This ensures that your brain is always novel. And novel means it's newness, like novelty. Your brain
Mm.
can look for novelty. So human beings want novelty, right? And
Yeah.
also, we maintain the childlike thought process.
Mm.
And what happens is once people get into their corporate lives, they get into their jobs, they become like robots. So they lose their creativity, they lose their thinking ability, they lose like their childlike thought process. They lose their risk-taking nature, they lose their innocence, all of this goes. This is all very important for a human being to achieve at their top performance.
Yeah. And I can definitely vouch for that, because during my 10 days in India, I could really see the child that was out on me running around the training room where I could really feel a lot of activities were done. And Rafi, I mean, I know, but actually for the benefit of our listeners, so if or when they attend your workshops, you will specifically go through the different peak performance exercises so that people can keep themselves sharp and to enhance their performance. You actually specifically
Absolutely,
do those exercises. Okay,
absolutely.
all right, cool.
I train around 5 peak performance exercises,
Hmm.
which people can take back and they can practice in any context, in any scenario, which is wonderful for leaders, which is excellent for salespeople, which is amazing for athletes. So all segments of people, even for children, it is an incredible tool. For any human being, peak performance state of mind is a key element.
Yes. In fact, I've adopted some of these exercises and I just worked well with a lot of aspiring speakers that I coach and work with. So it's amazing. It's definitely amazing.
Brilliant, brilliant.
Yeah. And next, I'm going to go to a topic that's very close to my heart. It's about elite performance.
Uh-huh.
Now for me, elite performance means unlocking your fullest potential in both personal and professional life. So
Mhm.
you become the best version of yourself, not comparing to anyone else, but just yourself. So, Rafi, in your take, now, do you think elite performance is possible for everyone or only for a rare few? What is your take on this?
No, so it is definitely possible for everyone, provided they have the intention. The intent is very important, right?
Hmm,
To have an elite performance. And so elite performance, according to you, is performing at the best, both in their professional and personal life, not competing with anyone, but competing with oneself. So my one of my key interests in my life is connecting with people who are elite performers from multiple domains, right from sports to martial arts to entrepreneurship to magic to juggling to music. So I kind of connect with people who are top in the league, like Guinness World Record holders, who are like international mind readers, mentalists, who are like global multi instrument musicians, right? $1 million entrepreneurs, serial entrepreneurs, right? So I connect with Paralympic athletes. So I connect with people like this and I interact with them very closely and I study their thought processes, their thinking patterns, and what drives them. And I also select people who have a fine equilibrium between their personal and professional life. I don't
hmm,
go for somebody who's just good in their business, but they're into drugs, they're into alcohol, or they don't have a good family life, right? So I look for people who have a good family equilibrium, both in their professional and personal lives. And those are the kind of people I go and model. So this is possible for everyone because all these people who I have gone and studied, who I have modeled in the technical terms which we say, these all people have come from very humble backgrounds.
hmm.
And they are like the first generation people in their lives. So they are the first generation entrepreneurs, they are the first generation athletes, they are the first generation jugglers, they are the first generation magicians, which means nobody else in their family has done that in the past. And it's not that they were born with a silver spoon, so somebody has given them all this in a platter. No, it was with intent, right? It was with rigor. It was with your elements, the 3 M's, right? The mindset, the mastery, right? So
And the
you talk
mission.
about the mission, right? So the mission, the mindset, the mastery, and I believe these people are ones who have literally embodied all these 3 things, which is the mission, the mindset, and the mastery. So they have a mission to contribute. If it's somebody like Indian Bruce Lee, who's like Dr. Joseph, who's like a martial artist, he's like a 3 times Guinness World Record holder. You met him in person.
Yes.
So he comes from a very humble background. His father was a farmer. He comes from a small village in Kerala in India, and he did not have anybody in his family who could give him training on martial arts. Today, his mission is to spread the importance of health to the lives of millions of people. So today he's traveling around the world, making people realize the importance of a healthy living, right? So that's elite performance. So they all of these people, they all follow. I think they have a strong mission and vision, which drives them definitely. and their mindset is incredible. So Dr. Joseph is somebody who breaks iron rods, right? And he
Yeah.
says that. So we asked him once, Dr. Joseph, how do you break this iron rod? And he said that basically either the rod will break or my hand will break.
Yes,
I
I
will
heard that
not
firsthand.
stop. Yeah, I will not stop it till one of it happens, right? That's mindset. And also mastery. He practices like 4.5 hours every day. So it's not for the last 25 odd years. He's 54 at the age of 54. Imagine somebody who's able to take like 2,200 push ups in an hour. That's mastery. So I think you have hit the nail on the head with the three M's Shakti for elite performance, and I can vouch for that because I have interacted and studied and been in close contacts with multiple elite performers in my life. And we invite some of these elite performers into our workshops as well as models of excellence where people can go and learn from them directly.
Yeah. And so, I mean, I'm very flattered and honored that I was in the right track. We're talking about the mission, mindset, and mastery, and I think I got a reaffirmation when I was in Kerala, in India, in your workshop, where I was glad that I was really on track, online or in line to where how I can actually make a difference. So I always am thankful for that, Rafi, when you told me that. Now, for our listeners, if someone is listening today and wanted to begin their journey towards elite performance, what's the first step that you would like to recommend to them, where they can just start? The first step.
The first step is the intent. I always start with the intent. So I'll quickly tell a story. One of my friend who shared this with me. He's basically a psychologist. He's also a martial artist. Not Dr. Joseph is another friend of mine. So this friend of mine was during his college days. He and another guy from his college, they were practicing. They were doing daily exercises, right? They were doing like push-ups, and they was living in a hostel in Kerala, a small hostel room where you've got the bunk beds and people, the students stay in the hostel bed. So they were like four members in the room, and one of the guy has gone for their like for his vacation to his home, and three guys were there in the room. Two of them were working out, and there was another guy who was just put a bed sheet on his head and he was just sleeping in the morning at 7 o'clock. So these two guys were working out for 45 minutes, and they just called the other guy and they say, hey, get up, mate. What are you doing? Like you're sleeping, and just come and exercise, do something, keep your fitness there. And this guy was just again slept, and then he again called, and then after a while he said, hey mate, at the end of the day you're going to die and I'm also going to die. What's the big deal? So you can't say anything to these kind of people for elite performance because there is zero intent.
Yeah. Cool.
And
All right.
it's
So
it's it's better not to waste the time with these people. So anybody who starts wants to start with it is an intent, because once you're congruent with the intent, then
mm,
the path will follow.
very
like
powerful.
like like Paulo Coelho says, right? If you the if you are if your if your desire is so strong and so deep, the whole universe will conspire for
Mm,
you to achieve your desire, right? So the
yes.
desire is what I meant by intent. It's the congruence.
And I definitely believe in that because as I said, I've felt it and seen it myself, where the moment I have a very clear intent, I'm congruent with it, things just happen. For
Yeah,
some it's like, wow, you're lucky, and I think luck is when your intent is clear and you're congruent and the rest just happens. So
yeah,
yes, so
absolutely.
yeah. So the number one thing to the listeners out there, think about the intent and be clear of it, like what Rafi said, and from there you can take it to the next level and step. Now, Rafi, let's go into a bit of science and strategy.
Mhm.
One thing. Now, let's talk about you specialize in behavioral science and NLP, right, for business growth and so on. So, what's one principle, a system, or code, that has unlocked peak performance for you? I mean, you had exercises, you shared some of these things, but anything that you would like to share so that our listeners can immediately apply in both their personal and professional life.
Yeah, so I would say that something called spiral somatics, right?
Hmm.
Spiral somatics is something which I learned from one of my mentors in Australia, right? And spiral somatics is how do I identify an individual's values, beliefs, turn on, turn offs within 30 to 60 seconds of seeing that individual. And how do I change my physiology? How do I adapt to that particular individual so that I am able to operate in any context in the most effective manner. So there is a big misconception or an incorrect belief which human beings carry in their heads. This belief is this: I am like this.
Okay.
So I want to break the myth on this show. There is nothing called I am like this. It's just your perception about yourself that you're like this. You have the ability to be like anything that you want, provided you learn this particular methodology to change your body in certain ways. Like, for example, if I want to be like more relaxed and chill, then I would go like this, right? If I want to be more connected with somebody and more like surrendered and submitted, and I go like this. So if I want to be more alert, then I go like this. If I want to be more entrepreneurial, then I go like this. So there are different kinds of physiologies that we can adopt, which again I teach in the programs, and my mentor also teaches. So this is another element which I would say is very, 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 very powerful in taking your life to the next level of success.
And I know and I believe because I attended your training doing this, and it's very niche training that actually you do specifically for the people in India, right? During your
Yeah.
workshop, spirosomatics. So
The second one is, I would say, modeling. If you ask one more element, it's modeling. So modeling is what, again, I told a little before in this show, where I connect with the elite performers. And there is a particular methodology. We use something like tone model, thought neural network. We use these kind of specific methodologies like implicit modeling, micro muscle mirroring. So these kind of methodologies we adopt while we are in the company of these elite performers. So adopt that into me so that someone like me from very humble beginnings, my father comes from a small village in Tamil Nadu where hardly 3,000, 4,000 people live, from a very small village, right? So I come from those humble backgrounds, right? And I've been in scenarios where three times meals was very difficult for me, right? I would say two times meal was a luxury, three times meals was a distant dream. So there was that kind of a time in my life. From there, today I've trained people from 32 odd countries. I've traveled to more than 15 countries, like online and offline. I've trained people from 32 odd countries, more than 1,25,000 people I would have trained. If you put together all of students, uh, put together apart from the corporates, then it would have crossed more than 300,000 people.
cool.
So, yeah, so modeling is one thing which has really, really helped me. In modeling, there are multiple elements which we use, like tote model, like micro muscle mirroring, like heuristic modeling, like uh, thought neural network. There are multiple elements which we use.
All right. And I think these are things that the listeners out there, I mean, you can really look into how you can actually make use of these tools. And of course, one of the best way to learn these things is, of course, invest in yourself. Be in a place where you can learn from someone like Rafi, and to make use of these tools to bring yourself to the next level. Now, Rafi, before we go into the final message for the viewers, I would like to just ask you about the upcoming event, which is the Manifest 2025. That's happening in November. Maybe you want to just give a few words in terms of what can viewers or people who attend the Manifest 2025 gain from this.
Sure. So Manifest is Asia's leading festival or summit on personal transformation, growth, networking, learning, healing, right? All under one umbrella, where we bring in 15 to 20 elite performers, quote unquote elite performers, where Shakti is also one of the speakers, and I'm
Thank
honored to
you.
have you, Shakti. And we are bringing in Nobel Peace Prize nominees. We are bringing in multi-million entrepreneurs. We are bringing in solo circumnavigators who went around the globe in a sailing boat. We are bringing in international musicians who bring out your inner voice. So if anybody is looking forward for growing in your personal or professional life, in your career, if anybody is looking forward to heal yourself from within, if anybody is looking forward to take your performance to the next level, then this program is for you, and I invite you. This is happening on the 21st, 22nd, and 23rd of November in a beautiful, beautiful beachside resort called as the Samudra Resort in God's own country in Kerala. So it's also open for children, so you can come in as a family. So this can be a life transforming event plus a holiday for you.
So Rafi, if anyone, because I'm definitely going to be there, and I got a couple of friends in Singapore who's going to be there, and I'm looking forward to meet a lot of awesome people, elite performers, and so many people out there. So if any of our viewers would like to register for the event, can they just go to the website as stated above?
Yeah, they can go into the website magicofchange.com, www.magicofchange.com, and they go into the page manifest and they register.
Cool. All right. And so, viewers, listeners, if you want more information, you can either just go over to LinkedIn and look for Magical Rafi,
Yeah,
and
and send me a
he,
message.
yes, and you can link up with him, or you just go and check out the webpage, or you can even message me or DM me, and I can always get back to you on this. All right. Thank you, Rafi. And now, time has just passed, and it just runs so fast, especially when we are talking about such awesome things. So, Rafi, what's your final message you would like to leave with our listeners today?
Okay, the final message that I want to leave is this. So, if anybody is really, really worried, feeling stressed, not able to think beyond your own thoughts, you just need a pen handy. And just put the pen in between your teeth like this. And then you try to feel sad, you will not be able to feel sad. Because to feel sad, there is a certain set of muscles that needs to be activated in your body. And the moment you put this pen or a marker without closing your mouth in between your teeth, those muscles gets deactivated and the muscles aligned with smile gets activated. And immediately you start feeling good. And remember, the message is this: it takes more muscles to frown than the muscles it takes to smile. So it's very easy to smile. And when you smile, naturally people like you. And when you smile, you are always happy. And when you smile, you feel good from within. And it's much, much easier to smile psychologically, biologically, and neurologically. And it doesn't take a dime to smile. So keep smiling, keep learning, and keep growing. Signing
Awesome.
off with love, Magical Rafi.
Thank you so much, Rafi, and it's really an honor to have you here once again. And thanks for all the sharing. And I'm looking forward to be there at Manifest in India to catch up with you and the whole of Magic of Change tribe. So with that,
Same
see you
here.
soon, Rafi.
Same here, Shakti. See you soon. Thank you so much. Wishing you all the very best for the podcast with many more guests coming your way. And I know that you have another amazing guest coming the next week. So
Yes.
all the very best for your podcast and the great work that you're doing. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, Rafi.
Bye.
All right. Now, awesome session. And, a big thank you to Rafi. Now, for those of you who've been in this podcast and if you are really, really looking into investing in yourself, in your time, then I will really tell you to go and check out Rafi's website. I'll just show it again and look at the programs. I invested my time, about 10 over days over in India, and I really thought about getting the science behind elite performance. And there are a lot of tools and skills that I managed to bring it back. And today I'm sharing with a lot of my coaches and a lot of people that I work with. So, yeah, so go check it out. And once again, thank you so much to all of you all to be here, and hope to see you all in the next session. As what Rafi had mentioned, we are going to have a special guest next week. So do tune in, and we will see you soon.